Hello everybody, hope you guys are all having a fantastic week. This week I wanted to take the time out to show you guys the progress on my father's house, the Lustron. For those who don't know, a Lustron is an all-metal house. That includes everything, including the roof, ceiling, interior walls, exterior walls, doors, everything. I have a video with a bit more information on what a Lustron is exactly that I recorded a few months ago if you want to go check that out. The link for that will be in the description. But this video is all about just showing the progress my father has made in the last few months. But just like my house, it isn't always the easiest thing to reassemble a very unique and complex house. This house has also in many ways become one of my projects as well. For the last 2 months, I spent most of my, let's say, down days over here tinkering on this erector set of a house, which has been fun but extremely challenging. Also, do stick around to the end of this episode, as I want to show you the craziness my father has added to the backyard. He's added some extremely wacky things, and I personally really enjoy them. But from the front, you can already see there are massive changes. Firstly being the clearing of all of this brush and all of these trees. It's hard to get shots of this house back in the day with the drone because of all the trees. In fact, here I got my drone stuck in this little tree. So even just with the clearing of the yard, things are looking much nicer. One of the other extremely obvious things that's happened so far is the addition of original Lustron windows. Now, they're not original to this house, but they are original from the factory, and they look much better than the original cheap modern vinyl windows. There's also been a huge amount of sanding and Bondo work on the outside. This is all in prep for painting. Now, of course, these panels are extremely durable. They were made that way. I mean, this is the original roof on the house. But it's been 70 years and there are spots that are now rusty, and rust is never good on a metal house. However, my father plans on keeping this house surf blue like it was originally, but the accent color we do plan on using this yellow. We don't think that there were very many Lustron homes made with this blue and yellow color scheme, but it was used in a lot of promotional material, and at least a few houses came out of the factory with these colors. And he thinks, and I agree, that the yellow will just add a much needed pop. So that's most of the outside covered. Alright, so now that we're not on the super busy street out there and you guys can actually hear me, we can go back to live audio. I said in the video last time the house is kind of backwards on the lot, so the front door actually enters into the kitchen, which is here, and the equipment slash utility room. And so this is, of course, got some cool features because this house is weird little grates and panels and access panels for plumbing and stuff like that. My father's gotten all the plumbing redone. All the electrical is brand new and modern and up to current standards. Brand new hot water heater. Brand new furnace, which is on, which I'm sure causing some audio problems. But then the rest of this area is original, and the plan is to keep it that way. It's looking really nice. And then, of course, no Lustron video is complete without showing the serial plate, the serial numbers. So every Lustron home came with one of these, or almost all of them did anyways. I think some of the very last ones before this company went bankrupt probably don't have these, but all the other ones do. And so this is his Lustron plate. Just like a car, you have a serial number. And I do wish we could call the dealer for service because that would have made a lot of things a lot easier about this house. So coming back out of the utility room, here's the kitchen. You can see he started to get some of the appliances together. He's got an old Philco refrigerator here, which works. It isn't on at the moment, but it does work, and it is quite clean on the inside. Of course, the outside needs a little bit of cleanup, but shouldn't be that difficult. He was able to acquire an original Lustron sink, so this sink is actually from another Lustron. I love that its name is the Beauty Queen. So this is an original part. The faucet, so the actual fixtures up here are not original, but the cabinetry itself all is. I believe this stove is a GE. Might be wrong about that. I can't see a logo now. But this is something he acquired pretty recently and is a really nice, very clean example of a 1950s stove, which is pretty cool. You get your clock, get some little outlets up here, timers, and generally speaking, it is a very beautiful looking stove. So I'm pretty excited to see that working. Now, if we back out here a little bit, originally right here, all the way floor to ceiling, would have been a china cabinet that came out. This home was missing it. We've been desperately looking for one. Currently, these are placeholders. We think at some point eventually we will find this piece and put it back in. Or if worse comes to worse, in a later date, fabricate one. but that gives the kitchen more of an alley type appearance. But this is more or less how things would have been set up. The only thing we're missing here is there is a cabinet. You can kind of see where the old stain is. They were angled forward. There's an upper cabinet here and an upper cabinet here that are both missing. Obviously this one being smaller to accommodate for a refrigerator, and that one being a bit lower for the stove. And then there's your vent fan, which is original to the house and still does work. I will be it is a little bit loud, but it does work. So kind of a nifty thing. Looking back into the living room, again, this would have been looking through a china cabinet, but this is your dining room or small dining area, which of course attached to the living room. You get your nice inbuilt shelving here for all of your knickknacks and fun stuff. I know my father has already acquired quite a bit of the furniture that's going to go in here. I think he's a red 1950s furniture set that's going to go in here. I don't exactly know what it looks like, and I know he's always looking for something that maybe fits better. So he changes his mind a lot about a lot of things. But we are getting closer to having this looking more like a home again. Of course, this area hasn't changed very much. You might notice all the little Bondo patches kind of everywhere, all these little bits of white. Essentially, people had hung things up over the years in here, and so not only the outside will be painted, but the inside as well. Granted, we are trying to stick to the original colors, so this grayish kind of color and the white ceiling is still something we're going to shoot for, because again, that is the original colors. The point is this to be an original looking Lustron, and you can see obviously there's a big color difference between the kitchen and the dining room and the living room area. So if we skip from the living room down the hallway to the 3 bedrooms and 1 bath, one big thing you will notice right away is this entire section did not exist before. This is what I've been doing with my extra days. So this has been my entire project working on this closet. Again, this was all completely ripped out. Both the doors were ripped out, and they'd put IKEA stuff in here and then hung actual wooden doors on these areas to split the bedrooms. It was an absolute mess. It looked horrible, but if you guys watched the last Lustron video, you will have known that my father bought another separate Lustron house that was just in pieces, and these are the pieces. Now, let me tell you guys, it is extremely difficult to go through a pile of 7,000 metal pieces and figure out, oh, what pieces make the closet. It's been about 3-ish weeks of me working 2 to 3 days on this to just try to figure it out. And 90% of the time, it's just finding the pieces, you know, what goes where. We have the actual assembly or erection booklet that would help you set up a house like this, but it's not the most detailed thing in the world. And this isn't like playing with Legos. So it's been quite a fight to get this thing back together, but I'm quite happy with it. But of course, this whole unit doesn't compromise of just this little front area and the 2 doors. Of course, it also divides the 2 bedrooms. So if I go into the 2 bedrooms, you can see this whole entire closet area didn't exist. This part of the wall didn't exist. None of this was here. Now these are the 2 doors that go here. We have all the upper doors for the closets. And this is starting to look much, much better than it used to. The room we're in also is the only one that we're missing one of the original windows. So you can see the huge difference in aesthetics of this window and the vinyl modern crap window. These ones, of course, are probably not the most efficient things in the world, but they're really cool. You open them up like this, and there's a crank on all of them, and you can crank them out. I'll show you guys in the bathroom. That one works pretty well, but they're really nifty. We're just missing some cranks on some of the windows. And yeah, I mean, just aesthetics alone, that looks so much better. And that was what was in this entire house. So having the original windows back, you're still gonna find the one, but even just having all of them but one is a pretty huge step back in the right direction as far as we're concerned. Now across from where we just were in that bedroom is the master bedroom, which is looking perfect. Again, this one does have both of its original windows. And if we turn back around, you can see that entire closet panel. I have the last 2 panels that go on this wall to hide the door pocket. The entire house has pocket doors. And this is the one pocket door I've kind of got working again, but you can see how it slides up there. And they're working pretty well. There's a bit of adjustment that needs to happen, but overall it's working amazingly and looking really good. So another step in the right direction. Now for the last two rooms, the last bedroom and then into the bathroom. But we'll do the bathroom last because there's been some pretty significant changes in there. In here, not a whole lot's changed. And you can see it's got the intact vanity. This would have been the master bedroom had this been a 2-bedroom house. Most of these were 2-bedroom houses, and so this is they built in for that. But that's also the part of the cubby that's in the living room. So this is the other side of that wall. And if we come back across to the bathroom, which is this room here, we've got a lot of pretty significant changes in here. So this room all around here was completely tiled with black kind of gross tile, and we've actually got the original bathtub back in and a sink that is very similar to the old one. I don't think it will be remaining red, but we'll kind of see how that all goes. But original medicine cabinets, even got the original cabinet that goes with the whole set. So this is another Lustron cabinet. So we've got most of the pieces here. It's just about putting it all together, which is a challenge. And so you can see there's an actual panels here that fit the bathtub perfectly. And so getting all of this to kind of go and fit back together is, I'm sure, going to be quite the challenge. But this is my next thing now that that closet is pretty much done. So this will be a fun little puzzle piece to figure out. But looking forward to the challenge. So that's the house. Let me show you the really special little trait he's got going on in the backyard, because to be honest, it's really fun. Out to the backyard, where my father has added one of the more interesting elements of the house. A mini golf course, because why not? However, it does stay with the 50s theme. And again, if you ever get to stay in this house, there's one more activity for you to do. And of course, what's a 1950s golf course without an 11-foot tall T-Rex and an 11-foot long fiberglass hippo? Yes, I know these are kind of crazy, weird items, but I do personally think they're going to add a lot of joy to anybody who gets the chance to stay at this place. And more than anything, that's what this house represents. I think my father's big thing in this life has been to try to curate and design experiences for people. I think that's where he gets most of his joy, actually. So even though this house and my house are very different things, in some ways they do follow the same ethos of allowing people to experience things they wouldn't be able to get to otherwise. And also, what has been the running theme of this channel is the preservation of these historic homes. That way the next generation gets to experience them as well. So that's more or less it here from the Lustron. It's been quite a battle to try to get this thing together. Tons of Bondo, tons of digging through a giant pile of metal, trying to see if you can find the right pieces. And I think once we finally have it done, it's going to be a really cool showpiece. It'll be a full-time machine in here. My father's picked out a date. He's going to make everything in here 1955. To the point where he's been collecting magazines from every month of 1955. That way, if you stay here in February, you have the February edition of Popular Mechanics or whatever from 1955 on the coffee table. You know, and the whole idea is to create this illusion that you are in 1955. This is your home of the future that you can get and come and stay in. So, and plus then you also get to play mini golf in the backyard, which is a really, really cool thing. So that's it for this week, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this little project that both me and my father and some others have been doing a lot of work on. Hopefully this explains to some of you guys that maybe don't know that I do a lot more in the week than just my house. You know, you have to. This is a pretty cool place to work on. It's frustrating at times for sure, but it's definitely been a challenge and a lot of fun. And I've learned quite a bit on it too. You know, I don't really deal with a huge amount of steel at my house, mostly wood. So getting here and trying to figure out how to work with this material a bit better is it's good. It's a good learning experience, and I'm better for doing it. So that's all for this project this week. I will see you guys again with my house on Monday. So until then, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all then. Bye bye.